Welcome to this explainer. Let's just dive right in, because today we're tackling something that is universal and honestly kind of horrifying. Picture this. It's 2 a.m. You're just innocently scrolling through your phone, maybe searching your email, and bam, you encounter them. The digital footprint of the person you used to be 10 years ago. Right? It's a very specific, visceral flavor of psychological damage. So today, we're breaking down a literal field guide to temporal self-defense. We're going to give you the exact tools you need to survive your own fossilized past.
You know, William Faulkner famously said, or, well, as this slightly revised quote points out, the past is never dead. It's not even past. It's just extremely cringe. And it's so true. Your past self isn't actually gone. They are out there, perfectly preserved in the digital bedrock, basically living rent-free in a 2015 photo backup, totally oblivious to the fact that we absolutely do not wear that or say that anymore. Consider this your clinical survival guide to navigating the absolute wreckage of who you used to be.
To get us through this alive, we've got a strict set of survival protocols. 1. Ground Zero, the digital archives. 2. Crimes of fashion and hair. 3. The hubris of youth. 4. Surviving acute cringe events. And finally, number 5, signing the peace treaty. Okay, let's start with Section 1. Ground Zero, the digital archives. Encountering your fossilized past. This usually starts so innocently, doesn't it? I mean, you're not looking for trauma. You're literally just looking for a tax receipt or like a PDF from your dentist. You type some boring search term into your email, and suddenly, mixed right in there with your old Bed Bath & Beyond coupons, you find it. An unsent draft from November 2016. The subject line is vague, just vague enough to feel super profound. Probably drafted at like 1:43 a.m. You open it, and oh no. It's a 1,500-word manifesto about authenticity and unfinished energy. It is an absolute full-body panic, realizing that at one point in your life, you were totally prepared to send a Dostoevsky-length footnote of your feelings to another human being on a Tuesday. So, when you make this terrifying discovery, you have got to immediately implement Protocol Alpha, the 5-second rule of old drafts. Listen, unsent drafts are the most dangerous artifacts out there because they are unwitnessed cringe. It's you at your absolute most confident, but with zero feedback loop telling you to stop. Look at the checklist. Do you recognize who it was for? Do you know why you wrote it, what you were trying to accomplish? If the answer is no to any of those, you must treat this thing like a hazardous fossil. Do not read it. Do not try to edit it. And seriously, whatever you do not send it as a joke. Just close the tab immediately and walk away.
Moving on to Section 2. Crimes of fashion and hair, the architectural failures of the mid-2010s.
When we shift from text over to photographic evidence, well, you're suddenly confronted with an era of truly tragic follicular and aesthetic choices. Let's look at this clinical taxonomy of hair crimes. The side shave from 2013 to 2017, the inescapable man bun era, the ill-advised bangs, which honestly spans all years, and of course the 2014 bleach incident. The thing is, these weren't just simple mistakes. These were heavily documented lifestyle choices. You looked in the mirror at a haircut that was objectively a cry for help, and you literally thought, yep, this is my face now, and then you took 50 photos of it from different angles. You really thought it was working.
And yeah, the clothes match the hair. Here's the chronological evolution of terrible fashion, our silhouette of shame. In the early 2010s, we were squeezing into the tight everything era. Skinny jeans just totally cutting off our circulation. Then 2013 hits, and we reached the hipster apex. This was when we confidently wore infinity scarves indoors and statement necklaces that literally weighed more than our own heads. We layered tank tops for absolutely no reason. We just did not understand the concept of too much, and we have the highly filtered, hyper-saturated mirror selfies to prove it.
Which brings us to Section 3, the hubris of youth, absolute certainties at age 22.
The thing is, bad hair grows out. What really lingers is the sheer blast radius of your past certainty. There's this specific, highly intoxicating, entirely unearned confidence that you only get in your early 20s. You were so certain about things you actually knew nothing about. Politics, coffee brewing, whatever. And the absolute tragedy is that you wrote all these certainties down on the internet for everyone to see. We call this the cringe realization matrix. Just look at how the threat level scales here. Being certain about your music taste on a Tumblr post, okay, moderate threat. But writing a massive Facebook essay on political theory after reading exactly one article, severe. And creating a viral Twitter thread explaining why everyone else is doing life wrong, that is an apocalyptic cringe event. You basically mistook just learning something new for possessing the ultimate universal truth.
The real danger is the massive gap between your intention and reality. On social media back then, you actually thought you were blowing people's minds with this cosmic, unshakable perspective on art or relationships or existence. But in reality, you were essentially just posting high thoughts while completely sober. You were trauma dumping in public. You were handing strangers your full medical history without so much as a content warning, totally convinced it was just, relatable content.
All right, Section 4, Surviving Acute Cringe Events, Treating the Bodily Panic of the Past.
Eventually, the past isn't just something you actively stumble upon in an archive. No, it actively ambushes you in real life, and we need to clinically validate what you are feeling when this happens. Imagine you're just washing dishes or standing in line at the grocery store, and suddenly your brain decides to remind you of an 11-paragraph, totally unsolicited advice text you sent 9 years ago. Your heart rate spikes, your face burns, you physically grimace. This is what we call an acute cringe event, or an ACE. Your nervous system is responding exactly as if you were currently being chased by a bear, all because of a message you started with the words, "I know you didn't ask, but..."
So, when an ACE strikes, you have to manually override your nervous system, and we do this through literal box breathing. Follow along with me on this. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, breathe out for 4 counts, and hold for 4. What you're doing here is convincing your brain that you are safe. I mean, you can't exactly run from a bear while doing box breathing, right? So your brain assumes the bear is gone, you're in the present, you are no longer the person who sent that terrible text.
Now, immediately after that panic subsides, your brain is going to present you with this ultimate, highly dangerous question. Should I reach out and apologize? Listen to me. Unless the event happened very recently, the answer is firmly, absolutely no. Reaching out about a weird text from years ago just centers your own guilt. It forces the other person to do emotional labor and resurrects a ghost they've probably already buried. Silence is almost always the kindest choice here. Just let your personal growth be the apology.
If you want to stop this from happening again, you've got to build future cringe immunity, and the magic number for that is 24, the 24-hour rule. If you have drafted a long text or an email giving someone unsolicited advice or some grand manifesto of your feelings, wait exactly 24 hours before sending it. I guarantee you, 90% of the time, you will wake up the next day, read it over, and be incredibly grateful you didn't hit send.
Section 5. Signing the Peace Treaty. Forgiving the idiot who built your current life.
This brings us to our final and honestly, most important protocol. We're moving from those deadpan survival tactics into genuine, empathetic reality. It is time to stop being at war with the younger version of yourself. Seriously, replaying the highlight reel of your failures at 2 a.m. does not undo the past. Your brain kind of tricks you into thinking shame will prevent future mistakes. But as you can see, shame doesn't actually teach you anything, except how to hate yourself more efficiently. Punishing the person you used to be, it really only serves to limit the person you are right now.
So you have to formally let it go. Here are some concrete steps for a forgiveness ritual. First, write out all the charges against your past self. Get it all on paper. Then, flip the script, act as their lawyer, and write the defense. Acknowledge that, hey, they were operating with partial information, but they were sincerely trying. Next, write the terms of the treaty, sign and date the contract. And finally, ritualize the release. Burn it or delete it. You just have to acknowledge that their awkward, cringe-filled groundwork is literally the foundation of the life you have today.
Ultimately, the absolute greatest takeaway of this entire explainer is this. Cringing is not a punishment, it's a victory. Think about it. You can only cringe at your past behavior if you have successfully evolved past it. If you were still the exact same person you were a decade ago, you wouldn't feel embarrassed at all. You'd probably still be proud of those awful posts. Your cringe is literal, undeniable proof of your personal growth.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Your past self was just a person trying, failing, and learning, and eventually they became you, which means they successfully did their job. So are you ready to let the past rest and finally forgive the person who got you here? Take a deep breath, sign that peace treaty, and just move forward. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. And hey, remember, you survived them once. You can definitely survive the memory of them today.